leader habitually do 8 laps, or does he have the occasional 7-lapper, Paul?
No, he's very habitual.
Okay, in which case,
so is the second place car. So 29 and 9 have been, I won't say shadowing each other, because they've been split by this 2-minute interval, but it was very noticeable at the beginning of this stint how Nico Muller suddenly managed to get 30 seconds back, sort of thing that you could get by lucky use of a yellow flag, by which I mean the yellow flag had kind of hit the leader, and then it had been removed by the time the second place car came. But for the second part of this stint, that gap has remained constant at a minute and 36 seconds.
Leader is in the pits. Leader is in the pits a lap early then. I did see Van der Linde with his helmet on. I thought, well, he's, 20-odd minutes early then, if the leader's going to do 8 laps, but he's doing 7.
Right, that's part of what I was trying to do with my little calculation, because what they'll be saying is we can make this stop shorter if we only do 7 laps. We'll be able to get enough fuel in to get us to the last half hour, and then if we can get enough fuel in to get us to the last half hour, we do our splash and dash, which we've got to do anyway to get us to the checkered flag. So this won't be the last stop for this car, because it'll need a splash to get it to the flag, but it will be not a timed one. It's just that this stop becomes 30 seconds shorter because it's come in after 7 rather than 8 laps.
And so Kelvin van der Linde, rather, who started it, is going to then take it to the flag. So they won't be trifling with taking drivers in or out at that stage. So it's that double slide rule thing where you've got to work back from one point to work back to another point to see where you are now. And does that then mean that we should expect 9 in at the same time? Because if the answer is the same, then surely they should be in the pits.
You would expect so.
90 seconds behind the number 29.
It depends if they've got a plan of how to get that 90 seconds.
Undercut, overcut.
By doing anything other than putting René Rast in the car.
Number 9 comes down pit road, so they are going to free the Rast. I think that might be plan A.
Right, so what will now probably happen, because we now look back to what's happening to the Rowe Racing car, the number 98, that can't afford really to come into the pits just yet. What they want to try and do, I suspect, is to leave their pit stop a little bit later, because they need to get to the checkered flag on one more stop, so they will stay out longer. They've only done, as Graham said a few moments ago, 2 laps on their current stint in the Rowe Racing BMW. So
this is the first throw of the dice, isn't it?
Fascinating battle of wits going on the pit lane. And of course, all of this assumes that we're going to have a green racetrack to play with in order to be able to go flat out.
Well, you always say, if you're behind, you're not going to win by doing the same, but they're, quote, doing the same. They've also come in, because their fuel economy maths works the same way. It's basically the same car. So,
but they have to be able to lap in the, what are we talking about, the remaining 11 laps of this race at a rate that's going to get the
10 seconds a lap quicker.
It's an awfully...
it is a big ask.
It's an awful lot big ask. On the other hand, the danger man is not necessarily, as listening to what Graham was saying, if we're assuming what Audi has said, is it going to be, we need an Audi 1.2, not an Audi 1.3, because the BMW, the Rowe Racing car, if it's not in danger of winning the race, is certainly in danger of taking second place and splitting the 2 Audis on the podium, which is obviously not what Audi wants.
Now, you are probably as good a calculator as I'm ever likely to have sitting alongside me. The Rover Racing car is now on the 3rd lap of its stint. Where does that take it with regard to getting into the final 30 minutes? Will it then be peeling off into the pit lane at the same time as the 2 Audi 29 going very slowly? Very, very slowly, and now starting to pick up speed a little on the Grand Prix circuit. We can see the driver, Kelvin van der Linde, inside, looking down into his lap, which was never a good sign. And he's been caught and passed by the number 48 Mercedes, who squeezes through on the inside into the Yokohama S's. And fresh out of the pits, all the lights have gone off. Control-Alt-Delete. He's resetting the car. Crikey. Well, you don't need much to lose a lead of 90 seconds. It's fired up again. All the lights are back on.
Yeah.
Wow.
Graham did say that something was going to happen, and it certainly has done. That number 9 Audi then suddenly having to, the 29 Audi suddenly having to do a Control-Alt-Delete in order to restart the car. The lights went out, the driver looking down in the cockpit, trying to work out what to do. He's set it going again, but I'm not sure that car's up to full pace yet, Martin.
It really doesn't look like it. Number 9 still in the pits. The time stopped, don't forget, they can't get out any faster. Now he's on his way. We still don't know who's in the car. We're going to have to wait for them to update it. It has to be Rast.
It is Rast.
Well, so it's effectively, it's almost the length of the Grand Prix.
No, he's only
Not
just
even there,
started. He's only just... Is he coming down to the Dunlop hairpin still? No, he's climbing up the hill up to the Schumacher S's, so he's a mile in front. But NGK chicane this week. Thank you, Adam Christodoulou.
I think it's Ravenel this week. The Ravenel chicane is this week.
Indeed. However, is he going to turn left at the top of the hill, or is he going to have to come back into the pits?
I think he has to stay out there.
He's back to the Jaguar curve. He's had to come into the pits.
That's...
Oh, my goodness.
Well, I don't know what's wrong with the car, but I would have thought he would have had to go round and just hope that the car suddenly comes back. I think, okay, you're bringing it into the pits, but you're throwing away any chance now of winning the race. And indeed, with the BMW from the Rowe Racing team, number 98, as close as it is, it's going to be very difficult indeed for the Lant Audi to keep itself ahead of that car. Didn't the Lant Audi was very close indeed in one of the VLN races and lost it in the last hour of the race, or the last half hour of the race, I think.
Engine cover is off. 1 hour and 29 minutes of the 24 hours remaining. The race leader has returned to the pits off the end of a short lap, which does not count on the Grand Prix circuit. Engine cover off, back on. He's been sent on his way again. He had a Control-Alt-Delete, a full lights off, power down, restart on the way out of the pit lane. They have lost the lead. They have lost second place as he came back out of the pit lane. He is shown as third on the road. Heartbreak and tears already in the Land Audi garage because the number 9 car has taken the lead, and into second, and there is the danger, is the 98 Rover Racing BMW.
Christopher Meese being, well, basically urged out of the garage. Christopher clearly very upset indeed. Just seen, he's absolutely, they're inconsolable.
The drivers are sobbing on the bonnet of the dead number 28, their sister car, which is in the garage, because that is absolutely heartbreaking. 90 minutes from the end. Well, at least it wasn't on the last lap, they may say, in 15 years from now, but right now, that will be of little compensation.
Overnight, we were talking about just how much racing Christopher Meese does. He's there. This is the loneliest moment for a professional race driver, isn't it? And, well, Colin De Filippi is just distraught. Yeah. John Hindhaugh just saying into my left ear, these are professional race drivers. Tell me that they approach this coldly. Tell me that this doesn't matter. Tell me this isn't special. The prospect of that result. And you know what? What an ideal moment to find out exactly what that means, because sitting down next to me is a man that knows all about the better part of that range of emotions. And we'll welcome back to the booth Alan Christodoulou.
Adam, for a racing driver, I mean, for me, that just gives me prickles all the way up my spine. What does it do when you sit there as a driver? You must feel their pain.
Your heart just sinks, especially when you know that you've got no control of it. I suppose my first opportunity of possibly winning this race was 2-3 years ago, and the wheel fell off as I was climbing Kestrel, and then of course I just felt at that point that the whole thing was just slipping through my fingers. But for it to happen close to the end is like heart-wrenching. So
looking at Vincent Vos on the pit lane of the WRT Audi, and he actually had a look about him as though it was his car that had just lost the race, because there for the grace of God, if it's happened to them, whatever it is, it's basically the same car but with a different colour scheme on. If you see a problem for the Mercedes in front of you and you're in a close race, you go, okay, what happened to them? Your first thought is, on the pitch to the team, what happened? What's happened to them? And is it going to happen to me?
Well, yeah, so it's one of them, like, even if it's your sister car that's in the race, then, of course, if you're not in contention to win, then, of course, all support sort of goes to that one, and to see it slip through your team's fingers, because it's not just the 4 drivers in the car. Like, once it's the whole team, there's, like, 30 people for 2 cars at least, so...
But the other aspect to it is, Adam, and I'm thinking more of it as you might be looking at it, or for the other Audi teams looking at it from the outside.
Came in with the 106 diesel-powered.
And that car has been consistently one of the quickest cars out there. It hasn't got the fastest lap, but it has been consistently one of the best cars out there.
Tyres, potentially. I think that would have been a little bit too much. Number 9, René Rast, riding the curbs and getting the back end of the Audi well off the ground there as he heads onto the Hatton back. And now above a Flansgarden. The better placed of the 2 is going very slowly on the Grand Prix circuit. They have not been without their issues. The 1, 2, 3 had their problems earlier. The 1, 2, 4 crewed by the all-tie crew, if I'm not mistaken, although not all on us, I'd tell a lie, because Takayuki Kinoshita's in that car. It's Jum Superpong.
It's been pretty desperately poor.
I don't care what the weather radar says, the clouds look threatening to me.
Somebody got
They're
the dark grey
shaking a
filter
fist
on.
at us, even as we look at it. Martin's going out the back door to be weather monitor.
I'm coming out now, and maybe sometimes.
Yeah.
Haven.
Yeah, excellent.
May its play time be cancelled, please?
Yes, yeah, it's going to be a wet play time. My goodness, you can just... I can see it now. A cloud burst somewhere on the far side of the circuit and people having to tiptoe around the last 2 laps, not wanting to stop for tyres.
Peter and Breck pits.
It could happen, couldn't it?
Absolutely.
This is the place where that's absolutely in the script.
So Peter and Breck pits. Thomas Lecole does
right
also.
behind
That
him.
will be the last. But they've not managed to do it in the final half an hour, John.
No, but Tom Onslow-Cole's only done... No, now he comes across the line and does it. So they've both done their 8 laps, okay?
Yeah, but because we're now counting down to the end of the race, these pit stops are going to be a minute and 46 seconds.
How long, Paul, you're our statistician, how long does it take for weather to get from Spa to the Nordschleife? Because the GT Open at Spa has just suffered what has been described to me as a small monsoon.
I would say
tipping it down.
I would say at least an hour.
Spa, it's tipping it down at Spa.
I mean, it depends on wind direction, all that kind of stuff, but...
René Rast carving his way through traffic, the Opel Calibra, one of the M235 BMWs. He goes through, that is his 7th lap on the stint.
And
so that's another 50 clicks before he calls in for fuel.
And 1 minute to go before we're into the last 30 minutes.
Do you go to the end of your fuel, Paul, or do you come in next time around and put less in? So you're standing still less time?
It makes no difference. I mean, whatever you do, you're going to be constrained by as long as it takes you to do it. And the amount of fuel that is required is going to be 3 laps worth, I reckon, plus the 20 seconds, or if that can be done within the 20 seconds that Adam Christodoulou tells us to change the tyres, then that's it.
Paul, look at the ticker. Flansgarden, es regnet.
Don't know if I've got that ticker.
Spots of rain at Flansgarden.
Stephen Kilby tells me the ticker we get into the media room is saying rain at Flansgarden.
It's not over. Right, shuffle back to the front of your seat. Don't go too far away. Live from the Aston Martin Lounge, Radio Show Network, flag-to-flag coverage, and we will take you all the way at the flag. No interruptions. We've seen every moment of the action, thanks to our TV colleagues at Vega here, Vega Technical, setting us up here in our salubrious booth. Our generous host, Aston Martin, and a particular thanks to the hosts in the lounge, including Marcus, who have looked after us royally. 1 or 2 more people beginning to gather here as the end of the race is nigh.
Pit stops for the Falcon Motorsports BMW number 33, also for the number 19, the Schubert Motorsport. They both came in together, they both went out together practically, so that, that's just a splash of fuel. They haven't taken on the extra tyres. The tyres they've got on them...
Really?
I don't know. I have to say, I can't imagine they could have done that in that time.
No.
Yes?
Really?
Well, let me just have a look at the pit stop time for Dumbreck was a 1 minute and 46 seconds. No, okay, that would have been tyres as well.
Right, I was going to say 4 more laps on the tyres, potentially. I think that would have been a little bit too much. Number 9, René Rast, riding the curbs and getting the back end of the Audi well off the ground there as he heads on to the Hatton back. And now up over Flansgarden, already up to the top of the hill to Schwedenkreuz and to Arenberg. He'll be down the foxhole in a moment or two, hugs the inside line of the right-hander under the Yokohama Bridge. Got a clear track, he'll be breathing a bit better. The 1-2-4, Team Thailand Ultima, which was the better placed of the two, is going very slowly on the Grand Prix circuit. They have not been without their issues. The 1-2-3 had their problems earlier. The 1-2-4, crewed by the all-Thai crew, if I'm not mistaken, although not all on us, I'd tell a lie, because Takayuki Kinoshita's in that car. It's Jum Supapong, Arthur Rungampon, Boon and Chen Jen Hong. They've been in a battle with their teammates, the Toyota Gazoo Racing Team Thailand 123, with Suttipon Smitterchurch, the Natavude Chiron Sukawatana, the man they call Mad Cow, he calls that himself, Manat Kulaparon and Natapong Hotunkum.
Mind games, perhaps. BMW Motorsport tweeting out stacks of rain tyres ready just in case.
Yeah, very good.
Look, we have some.
Yeah. Had a long chat with people from both sides of the tyre divide earlier on this morning, and I think both of the tyre companies have come out of this as looking pretty smart, to be honest.
More rain coming.
Michelin not wanting to bring their confidential tyres. You can't blame Dunlop for wanting to pick up a little bit of business, but they were very honourable and said they wouldn't allow people to swap and change. And I think Michelin, from what I've spoken to some Michelin executives, they were pretty pleased at the stance that Dunlop have taken. But I'll tell you now, there's more than a few Michelin people who've been doing a rain dance for the last 4 hours, because they think they've got the better rain tyre if it's required. Rain on the helicopter lens. Now that's flying at about, what's that, Martin? Do you reckon about 1,500, 2,000 feet, that? I would say. And that's up in the cloud base, so that could be just the dampness in the air. No spray showing down, and in fact still track looking pretty dry. The track's hot as well. Now, track being hot means you might get a little shower of rain. You'll see it on the windscreen, but you'll actually still get pretty good grip from hot, slick tyres. The GT3 drivers, pretty much all pros in the car at this stage, that won't bother them so much. The issue for me will be what happened to the less experienced drivers. They see rain on the windscreen and it will begin to panic them, and they will drive differently. And that could be the joker in the pack, Paul.
And it might be that quick change of direction, which René Rast has been doing and getting away with, that then causes him to lose control. But no, I think you're right, and I don't think that changing tyres is the right tactic at this moment, not onto wets.
Well, they are full wets as well. We don't have the super soft hybrid wets here for the Michelin runners, as far as I'm aware. Oh, it's raining. It is raining now. Down the hill, then, from Kallenhardt, Metzgerfeld, Kallenhardt area, down to Versiphen, and the I-30 has got the windscreen wipers on, and there's a line of cars that are tiptoeing down the hill. Now that has affected the driving styles of those drivers. Exactly my point, Graham. It might still be pretty grippy for those who have got the confidence, But if you're nursing a car home, then that's not just psychological rain there.
No, that's proper rain.
That's proper rain.
So what do? Do you take the risk staying out?
Got to.
Or do you go for the wets, anticipating maybe more rain destroy them and someone else is there on the slicks and takes the race?
René Rast is the leader. He has the most to lose, whatever he does. They'll be on the phone to him. He's through the rain area and coming back now onto the bottom of the Dottinger-Hurt. And he has got, well, he's got one more lap after this to potentially make a choice, because he has to make a pit stop next time around. He's in the mini carousel, the Swallow's Tail at the moment.
Yes, I think that, at the end of the lap that he's currently on, you're absolutely right. We have to get René Rast into the pits for fuel, John.
The 8 Haribo car, again on that far northeastern part of the northwestern part of the circuit, with the windscreen wipers on. That's the 10th position car. Now, grip still looked pretty good. However, it was raining quite heavily. Leader on the Dottinger-Hurt now. And let's also remember, is that rain there or is that just bugs I can see? It's bugs in the air there. That's extraordinary how much wildlife there is in the air. That's going to be getting on the screen. That's going to get smooshed across the vision area if he has to wipe his windscreen. He's in sunshine there, and the Audi team have got a brand new sticker set of Dunlop sticks. WRT as the Land car gets stuck in behind one of the Porsches, the Motul sponsored Porsche on the Dottinger-Hurt now. Oh dear me,
here comes a 9.
9 is in the pit lane. This is at the end. No, this is at the end of his 7th lap, Paul, isn't it?
No, this is the end of his 8th lap. This is the end of his 8th lap. Now, the road racing car has to stay out. They have no option. They don't need the fuel, so there's no point in road racing coming in for wet tyres. So I think that the WRT team has to cover whatever road racing does. If road racing is staying on the same tyres, it's just a new set of tyres for WRT and as well for Land when they come round at the end of this lap as well.
Brand new, and I mean absolutely brand new sticker tyres. And the fuel's still going in. We're inside the last half an hour, so once the fuel's done, it's done. They were looking to take a tear off the screen there, and I don't think there's one left. And they're going to have to clean the screen. The car's down, and clearly René Rast worried about getting vision problems, but the fuel's still going in. They're not losing time, but they went to take a tear off from the screen there. There was nothing left on the screen.
They've all gone. One thing that this rain is doing is it's slowing the pace, and that might mean we're one lap short, and that might mean that it doesn't mean you take a risk and put less fuel in, but it certainly means that those who are taking a gamble on the tyres can leave the same tyres on.
Van der Linde comes out of the Tiergarten. He's heading for the pit lane as well. He's caught up behind the 235M Cup 5 car. Stand by, fire it, go. And out goes René Rast. Oh, and he's almost caught up. He was held there. Thank goodness he was held, because that was almost disaster coming out behind the 73rd car. This is the 76 Porsche. So he's back out. There's high fives. Well, the team have done their job. Hugs all round as in comes Kelvin van der Linde.
The gap between the two Audis is going to be almost precisely the length of the pit stop for the number 9. He launched just as the number 29 car crossed the pit speed limit line.
We're still waiting for the road racing BMW to get on to the Dottinger-Hurt.
Yeah, and he hasn't finished sector 4 yet, Paul. You're right. Laptop is plugged in to the 29 Land Audi. Let's just put that software in and turn it up a bit, I think. Is there a Spinal Tap setting for 11 for that car? Because if it is, it's just been uploaded. The car is down. The tyres are on. And, he's gone and stopped because they didn't have the fuel cap screwed back on. Can you believe it? And this is a disaster for Land. And this is exactly what they didn't need. As soon as it went down, the driver started going. And Van der Linde now has to wait for the fuel cap to go back on. They're still not finished putting fuel in. It's a disaster.
Row racing in Tiergarten, John.
They're going to lose second place here. They knew that was an issue. They haven't got enough fuel in. As soon as it hit the ground, Van der Linde dropped the clutch and it was gone. And here comes Row racing across the line. And into second place, and still the 29 Audi, they're struggling with this fuel cap. They may have damaged it. It's going up and they're changing tyres. They're going to put wets on it.
It's
they're going to put wets on
pit straight, John.
This might, can you believe this? That fumble might have put them in with a shout here, because they've been able to make a change when 30 seconds before, when they should have been down and gone. Unbelievable. Oh, it's soaking out the back.
It's all they've got left, but could it be the right move?
Out the back. Left rear is the last tyre to go on. Go. He's been waved out. And Kelvin van der Linde is heading out. It's raining on the pit lane now.
It's raining heavily on the pit lane.
Oh my goodness, the last roll of the dice. Mother Nature. Has Mother Nature decided this is the 29 cars race? And having wanted to slap somebody round the head for releasing the car so early, there's a round of applause you can hear in the background from the guys in the pit lane. An immense call from Land Audi, and more wet weather tyres for Michelin, wet weather for Rover.
I have to say, John, it's all they've left. That's all they could do at that stage, because the race was gone at that point. That was an awful pit stop from Land Motorsport.
Oh, just unbelievable. Could that be the fumble that has given them the opportunity? The 98 car in second place goes out onto the Hatzenbach. Graham Goodwin.
Well, John,
on slicks. First two are on slicks. Rennie Rast and who did we put in the 98 car?
Katzberg,
thank you, Nicky Katzberg.
Dry
First
here.
and second, dry through the Hatzenbach, and they are both on dry weather tyres. Dunlop and Michelin in that order.
Beginning to show signs of a little bit of dampness here.
And a problem for the number one car. It's gone off at Flansgarden. The number one car has gone off. There is water running across the track, and that's how dangerous it is. This is not over by any stretch of the imagination. Whoa, dear, this has come alive. The 29 car already with the windscreen wipers on before it's even left the Grand Prix circuit. But remember, it's on treaded Dunlop tyres.
Just how long the dry parts of the track, and there's a lot of it by the look of it, can those Dunlop wets hang on? They've got to hang on for 16 minutes. Maybe more than that.
Definitely more than that, because it's a full lap. It's even though the checkered flag comes out, for those who are coming up to the flag at 24 hours, they have to let it go to the line for the winners of the race.
Contact with the barrier for the number one car. Adam Christodoulou sending us a message. They've got a puncture, and that car is going to drop back. They'll go on to wets, I'm sure, as the 99 goes on to Michelin wet tyres. Oh my goodness, no wonder people are going off. And
that's been at the barrier as well.
And that's the 42, isn't it? That's the 42, the fourth place car. Yes, it is. The 42 Schnitzer car has got the back end hanging off, and it is like skating on ice here.
That's not 42.
It is the 42. It absolutely is the 42. The back end hanging off, the red and white Shell-sponsored car.
And remember that both the leading Audis are out there on slick
and they're
tyres.
Not here yet. They're not to the part of the circuit where it's very wet. We've got at least a third of its walking pace now. The record's gone. Yeah, well, I just heard Martin say that. Record distance is gone. The Rover car is... Now, that's the 98 car. That's second position. Honestly, I could cycle quicker than that out on that part of the... Even I could cycle quicker than that at the moment.
That's the 99 road
No, it's the 98, Paul.
98. The 98...
That's the car that's on slicks. It's not the
correct.
Two leading
Apologies,
Audis.
I've just realised my mistake. It's the 29 we now need to be looking for. And we need to be looking at that third sector.
Now, the thing is with that car, if it can do...
The 29 car's just got off. Oh, no, he's hung onto it in Adenauer Forest. It's wet from Adenauer Forest onwards, so down through the Foxhole, and now the 29 car with Kelvin van der Linde has got rain tyres, and now he's pulling back to
Wave
the 2
yellows.
leaders.
If he can lap under 10 minutes, then he can make the race go long enough so that he can get through and onto the last lap before the checkered onto the 159th lap before the checkered flag comes out.
The problem's going to be yellow flags and him not allowed to overtake cars moving slowly. He doesn't want yellows. People can cover a second in the class of SPAT crawling around at the moment. Everybody is honestly, if I was out there in the 968 now, I'm lapping the leaders. This is amazing stuff. And it is survival. This is the second place car. We haven't seen René Rast at all, the leader. Do you come... Now, what do you do if you're the first two? Do you have an extra pit stop? You've got to, haven't you? You can't keep driving around.
René Rast is through the carousel and is headed up towards the Wifferman, or up towards Hohe Acht, and then down into the Wifferman.
Flansgarden, I'm being told by a number of spectators who are tweeting in at RSL_studio, looks like a river, amazing to watch, terribly dangerous. And now Nicky Katzberg and René Rast are just surviving, and Kelvin van der Linde is being told on the phone, get on it, son, because you've got to get up to them this time around.
He lost time to the 2 cars on slicks. WRT are clearing out.
Yeah, they've got to. You can't risk another lap like this.
John,
the Rove car is moving around on the straight. It's amazing driving from Katzberg. And on the live... that's a Porsche that's about to go straight on there.
Van der Linde has taken 20 seconds out of the 2 other cars in Sector 3.
On the live telemetry, that was the word I was looking for the leader, you can see his speed varying by 20 to 30 kilometres an hour as his rear wheels are spinning up. And that's the 98 car again, Katzberg, all over the road. And there's a huge plume of water coming out from slicks. How's he getting that car stopped? And now
it's going to be off. He's
going off at the bottom of the hill that leads up to the carousel. I think it looks a little drier there. Yes, that's exactly where it is. Oh my goodness me, where then is Van der Linde? Van der Linde
is a way back, but he has to say he took 20 seconds out of the 2 cars ahead of him, both on slicks, in the 3rd sector alone.
Van der Linde's now caught traffic. Now, what he doesn't want is any yellow flags. Van der Linde carving his way past other cars at the moment because he's got the surety of groove tyres. Now, it's not a get-out-of-jail-free car. He's at the carousel. He's at the carousel now. He's going to catch Katzberg before the end of the lap. He's going to catch Katzberg before the end of the lap, and then there's only another 90 seconds to the leader.
And there's not so many cars between them either, John. No. There's only 4 or 5 cars between Katzberg and Van der Linde.
Oh my goodness, drama piled upon drama. The race was gone 15 minutes ago. Oh, Rast's off. And that is at the Tiergarten. Is it? No, it's Brunchen, excuse me. Brunchen up to the ice curve. He was on the... how is he... Everybody just drifting around. The 19 BMW speed in the wall. Tom Onslow Cole's got deranged right rear suspension, and the back end of that car is steering itself. Doesn't need that. Slippery surface flags are out all around the circuit now.
I'm watching the shot we've got, and is that the Row Racing car?
Oh my goodness me. Now, they are not yellow flags. Tom Onslow Cole crabbing the car down. He daren't overtake anybody, and Rast's right there. Rast goes past Onslow Cole as the battle for second is now going the way of Van der Linde.
BMW's off.
The BMW off. Katzberg is off at Brunchen. Same spot of the circuit. The leader had a problem, so Rast is only 3 corners further on, and the race is coming back to land.
Unbelievable.
Hang on a second. Somebody pinch me and wake me up.
There will be
on the grass. He's on the grass.
That's not the 9. That's a 17. That's a 17 car.
It's the 29 car on the grass.
Yes.
The 29 car now in second is on the grass, picking his way through. He's gone rally crossing to go by people who are struggling on slicks. Just has to keep it. Roughly speaking, do you know what? There's probably more grip on the grass at the moment than there is on the track.
One more lap at the end of this one, John. We've got one more lap at the end of this one.
Inside 10 minutes.
Inside 10 minutes. One more lap at the end of this one. Well, what does the team do for René Rast? a wall of cars ahead of Kelvin van der Linde. He's done brilliantly, absolutely brilliantly, flashing his lights, blue flags being waved by our fabulous marshals here.
Now he's clear.
He's clear now. But I tell you, he was on the grass there, all four wheels, and how he held on to that, I've no idea. The pass on the grass might win this race for the 2019. They were down, they were out, they were head in hands, they were crying, they were sobbing, they were inconsolable. Less than 40 minutes ago, and the leader is mired in traffic coming onto the Dottinger as the second place car comes out of the Kleiner Carousel.
2 corners behind.
What do? Paul Truswell, team manager, do you pit René Rast for wet tyres?
Yes, you have to pit René Rast for wet tyres in these conditions. That would be my call, no question about it. Obviously, you're gonna leave leave van der Linde out there. I don't know if Katzberg is actually going to get round. Is he?
Katzberg is staying driver's right. Van der Linde is staying driver's right. Katzberg is struggling mightily. He's already been off the circuit of Brugge.
He's lost second place already, that's for sure.
He's got a half a chance of losing third here, because remember the 42 BMW went on to wet weather tyres too. Now, drier part of the circuit.
Sector 4, 6 minutes and 8 seconds for René Rast, 4 minutes and 21 seconds for van der Linde.
Katzberg did 5:25.
Katzberg is catching René Rast.
Yes.
Which is why Rast has to stop for tyres.
Well, has he come in?
He's
in the pit lane now. He's got the 24th place, number 3, Jerome Moll.
What drama?
The 3 Mercedes, and stand by, because after the drama, after the heartbreak, after the tears, the 29 car is back in the lead and starts what will be for him his last lap of the 2017 ADAC Zurich 24 Hours. And the weather has taken away the chance of a win for the Rast car, the number 9 car, with grass, with dirt, with rubbish, all in the intakes, and the team will go to work. It doesn't need fuel, just bang a set of tyres on it and get him at now. Now the question is, how fast do you drive on the dry bits?
I'll tell her in the pits.
Yeah, had to.
Like Katzberg rather in the pits.
Yeah, so where is the other BMW? He's too far back, the 42. The 42 is too far back. The world's most expensive grass cutting machinery is the front splitter of that Audi, and they're looking underneath. Do you know what? I tell you what, they just about got the man. No. Oh, I'm not sure that was a fist in the air.
They didn't do tyres on either car. They didn't do tyres on either car. I don't think they did tyres on that car.
It's carnage in the pit lane, and Katzberg is still in with a chance of second here. Van der Linde is gone. What he's got to do now, and they've got to be on the phone to him now saying, steady boy, take it steady on the dry bit. You've got to have some tread blocks left by the time you get to the wet bit. Oh my goodness.
So we've been looking through this race at what lap times are we talking, Paul? A good racing lap time?
8 minutes 20.
Last lap time for René Rast was 14 minutes and 20 seconds.
Yeah, just seen 6 minutes on that last lap.
Just seen the still from the pass on the grass from Kelvin van der Linde, and he was well off. More than all 4 wheels. More 4 wheels and another half of Audi, pretty much. And my goodness, how things can change. The car dropped. Van der Linde, anxious to get out, pulls the fuel hose out. The fuel cap not in, more fuel having to be put in, push the car back, nightmare of the pits. Oh, hang on, what's that? It's raining. Well, shall we put some wets on? I don't know. Oh, go on then, let's put some wets on. It's won them the race.
Didn't take them that long to decide, John.
No, it didn't.
Somebody said do it, and they went and did it.
I was playing that for drama. Tom Onslow Cole. That is, isn't it? It
is the 19 car.
Yeah, Tom Onslow Cole dropping out of the top 10 and crabbing. That car's been off. It's got damage to the right rear suspension.
Whatever happens now, the lead change has come on the last lap.
Correct.
To actually to give this win either to Landa Motorsport or to the other chasing cars if dramas are still to come. But the lead changed on the final lap of this race for the second consecutive year.
Dinjo Capello down in the pit with Marcel Fessler. Teammates at Audi for such a long time. colleagues at least. Don't understand why the guys pitted and then didn't put weather tyres on. They were stationary long enough, just checking the cars over, maybe. Maybe the 42 BMW, I can't remember which tyres we put on them. Did they stop? No, they didn't.
42 did stop, yes.
All right, we did stop. Are you sure?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, the only car that didn't stop was the number 29 car, the Van der Linde car, for obvious reasons. Everybody else came in or didn't make it round at all. And that, for example, is what happened to the number 31, the Crickadeli Porsche, hasn't actually come round.
Right. 42 hasn't finished the lead lap yet, though. It's still on 156. That's still in the danger sector 4. Well, my goodness me. Would you credit it? With due respect to all the other racing going on this weekend, at Indianapolis, at Monaco, at the Monte Carlo, at British GT, at the GT Masters at Spa, honestly, are you going to have as much action as we've had in the last 20 minutes? I probably think not.
And the battle is still on for second place. I don't know if you're getting it on the TV pictures, but there is nothing to choose on the scanner, on the plotter. The second place between the WRT car and the Row Racing BMW.
Going down into the foxhole now, and that is where the damp starts, and it gets progressively wetter from there all the way around. The leader, Kelvin van der Linde, and the 29 Land Audi halfway around the circuit, and surely somebody's got to be on the phone to him now saying, take it steady, son. The DJI drone watching the cars coming round. Great addition this year. Change for second place. And Adenauer Forst in the damp, side by side, and through goes Katzberg. Great manoeuvre. And all of a sudden, it's BMW into second place. And now all the long faces are down at René Rast's crew at Audi Sport Team WRT. And BMW have something to cheer about. Remember, they stayed on their Michelin tyres.
Through the drier part of that circuit, sector 2, the BMW took 8 seconds out of the leading car, but this is where it starts to get rather trickier. This is where the wet stuff is, and this is where Kelvin van der Linde, if he can keep it on the island, should.
Darren Turner, by the way, took 1 minute and 2 seconds out of the Bentley that's ahead of him in 21st position. DT is exactly the man you need in these. He has driven through hail here and got it back. He has driven through a monsoon. I said this the other day.
This is exactly the conversation we had with David King.
If it's going to be bad at the end of the race, get DT in, because it doesn't matter what tyres he's on. He'll get the car home. I remember.
And there's a number of cars, John, that aren't circulating at the moment. So there are prospects, because you only get classified if you take the checkered flag. If you're just running and you've got 20 minutes after 3:30, you have to take the checkered flag to be classified. There's a number of cars that are stuck out on the circuit in various places, I believe.
Very slow.
That's fine. It's the final lap of the 49 car. Woody has been sent out for the final lap.
Right, got you. Sorry.
The V12 Vantage Aston Martin, after a great run through the night, by the way.
Have we had a South African driver on this top step of the podium here? Graham Goodwin, I'll set you off on that one. Just extraordinary stuff. The copywriter for the script here needs to be calmed down a little bit, because you can't write things like this and have people be expected to believe them.
Through the carousel goes Kelvin van der Linde.
Yes, the 2017 24 Hours of the Nürburgring. Yes, we filed that under fiction, actually, if that's all right with you. Can't be a documentary. That would never have happened in real life. How quickly fortunes can change. 40 seconds before the checkered flag comes out, and anyone who goes past then has finished their race. Kelvin van der Linde, who was waved out and went a bit early, coming up to the carousel, second place car and third place car. Now the Nicky Katzberg driven 98 BMW and René Rast in the number 9 Audi. Do you know what? It stopped raining now. I reckon it stopped raining. It's still wet, but it stopped raining. And here is the leader coming through the final third of the 2017 race. van der Linde over what will be slippery paint now. It's been dry, of course, all the way through the weekend. The usual graffiti painted on the track has probably not been so much of an issue. Now it's wet. The rubber debris will be making life difficult every time he turns the wheel, and it has a little bit of an understeer. Etienne will be, Kelvin rather, will be thinking, oh, come on, grip, grip, grip.
The checkered flag is out. Cars coming across the line now are taking the checkered flag. Their race is over. But, of course, the winner has yet to take the checkered flag.
But he's not far off coming through the big slide coming through onto Flansgarden. Really? You want to do that to your team?
He would be the first ever South African, in fact, first ever African winner of this race. Colin De Filippi would be only the second ever American winner of this race. It would be Christopher Meese's first Nürburgring 24 Hours, I believe.
Right.
And it would be, I think, a third for Marcus Finkelhock.
Just unbelievable. Everybody going wild at the side of the track. The marshals, who've been outstanding, giving an ovation to the cars as they're coming through. They know what they've witnessed, something very, very special here, as have you, listening or watching. The compliments about the stream, very well received here by our technical partners, Vega. It's been rock solid, global, no geo-block, free, uninterrupted. Every single session that has been competitive has been online for you around the world. And this has paid off for Land in the end. A slight mistake has turned into an opportunity. The opportunity grabbed and delivered by Kelvin van der Linde, who has taken the ball, run with it, and made the hard yards at the end. He comes down the Doddy-Gahoe for the 158th, and final time will be 1 lap short of the distance record held by Phoenix Audi, set in 2014. The green, white and red Land Motorsport Audi. 2 corners to go. It's dry here now. The tyres will be worn. The 2 Team Thailand Gazoo Racing Altimas are in team formation. The marshals know. The crowd knows. The man with the checkered flag knows. And Land Audi knows that they've won the 24 hours of the Nürburgring for 2017 in quite extraordinary circumstances. A team who